Gentlemen, Julio Martinez confesses, and he will do so today before the judge, that the real boss of the company Análisis Relevante, Julio Martinez's consulting firm, is Rodriguez Zapatero. That the one who ordered what to do, which clients to look for, and how to create a strategy, how to implement a strategy to help them with public money in exchange for a commission, was Rodriguez Zapatero.
This man has already been appointed, as published by UNHCR itself, as operations chief, or rather deputy head of operations, with a salary of around 300,000 euros a year. It's a position, not the highest, but one of the highest. It's a high-ranking position at UNHCR. And as you said very well, it's more than 20,000 euros a month paid in 14 installments.
Because I was an indoctrinated young man and I learned to live in two worlds. And what many kids are doing nowadays is living in two worlds. In the world where you have to smile and say yes to the 2030 agenda to pass the exam, and then behind the scenes, they're stirring things up on social media and doing everything they have to do. There is a system that's being imposed on us, but there are a lot of people who are resisting.
That's how most people in the world work, except for certain people. And to get their privileges, they have to put their boot on the rest of us, like Saide said. And the whole issue of control is ultimately for this. It's like the yuan in China, controlled anonymity, as they call it. Anonymity for us and absolute transparency for them. I mean, everything is heading toward the same thing, toward the totalitarianism we already know. We see it.
Castillón Confidencial by Albert Castillón.
My insurance sponsors the editorial of Castillón Confidencial.
Bienvenidos. Welcome, confidential viewers. Thank you for being there. Well, now that we are world champions, more people are watching us. Thank you very much, and it's an honor to be here to tell you about the current events that others don't tell you about. I have a lot of messages from you. For example, this one, I don't know what you think. It says, but I think that now, after the World Cup, it would be a good time to step up the pressure in the streets, to go out with flags, to protest and get rid of the dictator. In Spain, look, they say get rid of the dictator and there's no need to say the name. We all know who it is. I don't think it's a bad idea. And in fact, in Marbella, they're going to do it in a few days next Sunday. But right now, justice is the most efficient way to get rid of the dictator. And gentlemen, today is a key day. In a few hours, we are going to discover the true face of Jose Luis Rodriguez Zapatero, Sanchez's guru, his political father, the man who has guided his steps, the true president of Spain in the shadows. In a few hours, Julio Martinez, his alleged frontman, will appear before Judge Calama. And yesterday at noon, there was progress. That's what was agreed with the prosecutor's office. We already told you here that Julio Martinez has reached an agreement with the Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office with Prosecutor Luzon to tell everything he knows. And the prosecutor sets the timing. And one of them was to make a court order public through his lawyer just hours before the statement before the judge, so that Judge Calama already has information to ask about. That court order came to light yesterday. And gentlemen, it's a bombshell. It's the end of Zapatero. It shows who he was, how he did it, what he did, how much he got paid, and what the real role of the former Spanish president was. We knew about his kickbacks involving Maduro and narco-terrorist regimes, about his dangerous ties also motivated by money with China or with other dictatorships. But what that document reveals is that Rodriguez Zapatero was acting as a middleman, using Sanchez's government to get money. That, besides being a crime, implies the collaboration of Sanchez and his government to give Zapatero that payoff, because they knew about it. Do you remember the bailout of Plus Ultra, the Venezuelan company? $53 million during the pandemic to a company that didn't even have planes and wasn't strategic. It had lost money and owed taxes, but they gave it to them. Why? We already knew there was something fishy going on, that Zapatero might have intervened. Now we have all the information. Julio Martinez has provided it because he signed the contracts. Gentlemen, Julio Martinez confesses, and he will do so today before the judge, that the real boss of the company Análisis Relevante, Julio Martinez's consulting firm, is Rodriguez Zapatero. That the one who gave the orders on what to do, which clients to look for, and how to create a strategy, how to put a strategy into action to help them with public money in exchange for a commission, it was Rodriguez Zapatero. In short, it was him, Zapatero, and not Chulito Martinez, who was running the consulting firm and everything that was done in it. Zapatero has denied this repeatedly to journalists and to Gracias.
I absolutely did nothing, and I wasn't interested in the Plus Ultra bailout. I had no relationship with Plus Ultra. I've never met with Plus Ultra. I have never made any approaches to any public administration or public sector body regarding the Plus Ultra bailout. This is strange, isn't it? Strange. I know I met people from Plus Ultra. I didn't, for example.
Julio Martinez provides WhatsApp messages, documents, and recordings that prove it's true that the one in charge was Zapatero and not Julio Martinez, who was always little more than his frontman. They met back in 2011 during the sale of a house, and from there they became friends, right? And Zapatero at a certain point offers him that possibility. If he were his frontman, they'd call him a partner because the word frontman sounds really bad, right? I'm sure they called it a joint venture between companies, which is very common nowadays. Look, this contract you're seeing is the one Plus Ultra signed with Julito Martinez. And here it's clear that they give a 1% commission to Zapatero, even though they don't mention his name. If they manage to get the bailout for Plus Ultra and something more, a fixed amount per month, according to the document provided by Julio Martinez and also obtained by the UCO, 5,000 euros each month, plus VAT for the paperwork for Rodriguez Zapatero's consulting firm. They would be to pay Julio's secretary's salary, the electricity and water, right? And the rest, the 1%, just for Zapatero. 530,000 euros. This contract was signed on January 19th, 2021. And gentlemen, Rodriguez Zapatero, now we can confirm, will be tried, will be convicted, and will go to prison. How many more times did Análisis Relevante pull this kind of shady business with Zapatero as the boss? How many seeds? For example, how many Chinese did he bring into Spain? How much did he get for each Chinese construction company that ended up buying or absorbing Spanish companies that were bankrupt? How much more did Análisis Relevante do? And what percentage did Zapatero get from the sale of Venezuelan oil? With the help of the lady, right? Delcy Rodriguez. Gentlemen, Zapatero charged for everything, even for breathing. And the worst part is that the Sanchez government let itself be convinced, participated, collaborated, and paid with our public money so that he could take his 1% cut. How many in the government knew about it? It's clear that Sanchez was one of them. We should ask ourselves if from everything Zapatero got through Sanchez, Sanchez was also taking half. 50%. Well, we think that everyone around him has gotten rich except for him. Knowing his wife, we know they have expensive tastes. Get ready, because today is an important day. It's no longer just Victor de Aldama. It's Victor de Aldama and Julio Martinez, frontman for Zapatero. Next. I predict, I'm telling you in advance, we said it. It's ending. Negotiating. Lere 10. Get ready and let him learn what's happening. Let Santos Cerdan, Coldo Garcia, or Jose Luis Abalos learn to start cooperating with the justice system to tell everything they know. Don't believe it, Abalos, Coldo, Cerdan. Don't believe the promises they've made to you from the PSOE. This will be over soon. That Candido Conde. They promise you they'll take away your sentence, that you'll end up working at a consulting firm with Pepino Blanco. No. Each of them could get even more years in prison if they don't cooperate with the Anti-Corruption Prosecutor's Office. Aldama and Julio Martinez. Julio Martinez and Aldama are two key figures to start cleaning the trash out of this country's Moncloa underworld. In the end, the friend who wrote, "Why don't we take advantage now and get rid of all of them?" will be right. Well, maybe with the help of these two witnesses who are cooperating, we'll achieve it sooner than expected. Get ready, because today much more will be revealed as Julio Martinez and Plus Ultra executives speak before the judge. We'll tell you all about it. Welcome. We're investigating.
The Miss Seguros app has sponsored the Castillon Confidential editorial. Download Miss Seguros, the easiest and fastest way to manage all your insurance in one place.
When you ride an electric scooter, the last thing you want is to be carrying papers. Your insurance, always at hand, digital, organized, and ready when you need it.
Castillon Confidencial by Albert Castillon. Gentlemen, your taxes are not only used to build schools and hospitals, no, they're also used to pay bribes, fund revolving door appointments, and bankroll the state's dark dealings. Today, we're going to talk about revolving doors. There's a person we've mentioned here before. Look, if you saw him on the street, you wouldn't say he's the smartest guy in the room. We can agree on that. Look at him. His name is Anton Ley. He's this guy, well, a bit disheveled, but that's in style these days, with a somewhat lost look in his eyes. He's very good friends with Sanchez. You can see him there with Sanchez at one of the rallies. He has been the director of AICID, the Spanish Agency for International Cooperation, for years. The agency that has distributed billions, many of them on absurd, complicated things. Completely ridiculous things that we in the media have reported on. We have always thought that there is allegedly a diversion of funds, some account either for a party or for individuals. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense to support avocado farming somewhere or shrimp and prawn farming in Ecuador. It's all pretty absurd. All right, so keep this in mind. This guy, thanks to the revolving door, has doubled his salary. Yes, doubled his salary. Pablo Cambronero, who was a police officer and a deputy. How are you? How's it going, my friend? Hello, Mr. Albert.
Well, as I always tell you,
I'm glad to be here with you. It's been a while since we last met. We took a short break, but now we're back with plenty of information and energy.
You are AECD's best friend. They have a dartboard with your face on it in their offices, and they throw darts at it. Yes, you discovered that there was an absolutely outrageous diversion of money here. What amount are we talking about? How much does ECID handle per year on its own?
Well, AECID is part of a conglomerate each year, let's put it that way, along with other institutions, which, well, they spend a whopping 4.5 billion euros a year. Per year, this was in 2025, on international cooperation for development. And AICID manages over several years in grants and other non-repayable aid an average of about 1.8 billion every 2 years.
That's unbelievable. This is under the umbrella of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, meaning Alvarez. Where is Anton Leys now? Because he is no longer, or won't be as of August 1st, the director of AECID.
Well, the director of AICID, the general director of AICID, who, well, comes from a deep and profound socialist tradition since this gentleman led the Socialist Party group in Paris. It's a very curious thing. It's like the international version, just like there is in South America. It also seems there are Socialist Party groups all across Europe, and obviously we are the ones paying for them. We won't stay quiet about it because that's the reality. Well, this gentleman has led in recent years and has kept Pilar Cancela in place. Pilar Cancela, who was Secretary of State for Cooperation and is now Secretary of State for Migration. We should also remember that I published in Bioche Dioshetip that this lady allegedly met over a cooperation deal with Leda Diaz. Everything is very, very connected. Well, this gentleman has led the agency, yes.
Este señor ha dirigido la Agencia Española.
The International Development Cooperation Agency, AICID, with, let's say, not exactly modest earnings, about 120,000 euros a year. We're talking about additional allowances, etc., etc. We're talking about, let's put it this way, around 10,000 more or less per month in 14 payments. This is to cooperate with whom? Because, of course, a salary for a high-ranking official of this caliber, who does it help? Does it help his colleague? His bank account, clearly, because it's an absurd amount of money managed by a person that's supposedly meant to help. If you want, I'll tell you about the huge revolving door around him.
Of course, because he went from earning about 10,000 a month to 20,000, and now you can explain to me how that happens.
Well, that's how it's done. Let's explain it in a simple way. The general director of AICID, Anton Leys, this socialist from France, well, he had several revolving doors around him, many of them from the UN, which is important. And, well, there's an entity that when we hear about it, honestly, it inspires respect and even admiration in us, which is UNHCR. Yes.
The Refugee Aid Agency.
Exactly, right? Well, we all expect and believe that this agency is dedicated to helping others and so on. Well, okay, that's the theory that I always question. Well, this gentleman has already been appointed. It's already been published by UNHCR itself as head of operations, let's say deputy head of operations, with a salary of around 300,000 euros per year. It's a position, not the highest, but one of the highest. It's a high-ranking position at UNHCR. And it's, as you said very well, more than 20,000 euros a month in 14 payments. Yes, but we're talking about solidarity and cooperation. Let's not forget the name.
That's right. We're starting to get used to the fact that in these kinds of organizations, it's the leaders who benefit. But the serious thing here is that for years, as the director of ACID, he paid money to UNHCR. In other words, UNHCR is returning the favor for the millions he gave them with our taxes. Have you calculated how much this Anton Leys gave to UNHCR? Have you calculated, was he the director of ACID?
Yes, we have calculated it. I've been calculating all the United Nations agencies for a while now. And well, in 2025, the amount was close to 30 million euros for UNHCR. Just 2025, which was honestly a very prolific year for donations. UNHCR is governed by, it's a system of voluntary contributions from states, agencies, cooperation organizations, like in the case of AECD. AICID is one of the biggest contributors to UNHCR. The deputy head of operations of UNHCR is appointed as the Director General of AICID. Can we connect the dots there? Can we say that allegedly everything smells like the purchase of a very high-ranking and well-paid job? But I keep saying this is cooperation, this is aid for people who supposedly need it in other countries. How the hell can they justify it morally? Those salaries and those kinds of political maneuvering in all these entities, it's curious.
It's a scandal that should be investigated right now. If every year, let's say, it has given it 30 million, then we've paid this man's salary with our taxes, right? The revolving doors, my friends, they give millions, tens of millions to organizations where they end up being appointed as members later. It's a complete scandal. No one has investigated it since you published it, Pablo.
Well, there are investigations. Elon Musk's own Doge looked into all these bodies. He even considerably reduced the contributions. But is there really no serious international investigation that says, well, for example, we've analyzed the other UN entities and we've seen, for example, in the UN, women, just to give you an example, UN Women, which last week received 8.1 million euros, well, this entity dedicates 60% of what it receives to salaries, travel per diems, and training of its staff. 64% of what it receives. So we're really maintaining gigantic structures, very well paid and with highly compensated positions. And we're maintaining it with public money supposedly given to help others. It's a wild scandal.
Well, when you pay taxes, think about this guy Lace because he's been given a lot of money for years, or about UN Women and its leaders. I have a video. I want you to watch it. This image you're seeing was published by Le Figaro. There you can see how an NGO called Sea-Watch on May 11th meets up with a people smuggling boat. Of people, and the immigrants are transferred from boat to boat amid smiles from the smugglers who give a thumbs up, say thank you, great, let's coordinate, right? I get paid to take immigrants out of Mali or anywhere else, and you get paid to take them to the coast. The NGO collaborating with people smuggling, you posted this video on your social media, and it has been a scandal. In France, but like that one, there should be many, right, Pablo?
Yes, there are hundreds of videos like that. This is a video that was published by Frontex, who are colleagues, after all, colleagues from the state security forces who are dedicated to border security. And they are witnessing these kinds of movements, which allegedly, and according to the video and everything we've been able to see, it seems that there is a prior agreement between an NGO that has a ship, a very expensive ship, by the way, that spends huge amounts of diesel. Well, it seems that there is an understanding in which immigrants are passed from one to another. Immigrants. Sorry, I'm not going to use that term anymore, which I deeply hate because they invent words and I can't stand it. So they transfer immigrants from one ship to another, and from there they reach the border where they are distributed. And we already know everything else that happens, that it's already here, and what we spend on it, insidious amounts of money. For example, another example, last Tuesday, it was 35 million euros just from the Ministry of Youth and Childhood. From Sir Arrego, a communist, well, it went toward caring for unaccompanied minors.
35 million?
35 million euros, but just from one ministry. You have to keep in mind that there are 4 more ministries that allocate money in those amounts or even more for the care of unaccompanied minors. I mean, really, it's not just that we're encouraging illegal immigration, it's that we're actually leading it, we're funding it with public money. That's what all the information we're seeing points to.
That video has triggered an investigation by the French prosecutor's office in France, and we'll see how it ends, because maybe by pulling on that thread, we'll get here, which is what we're interested in. Hey, Isidro Altar, we saw how happy Sanchez and Alvarez were, smiling as the fence came down. You have shown in your reports that Spain, in this agreement that the European Union has reached so there won't be a border, Spain pays for everything. But everything means everything. Tell me what we pay for Gibraltar with the new agreement.
Well, the wonderful and magnificent and glorious agreement that we have achieved, that our wonderful government, read the irony, has reached with the United Kingdom or with England, is basically to take care of all the management of Gibraltar's borders, including customs management, fighting crime, and so on and so on. That is to cover all the administrative costs of managing Gibraltar, external management included, of course. And they, well, continue with their huge business. Having companies there, having a tax haven in the middle of Europe, and reaping everything Gibraltar can generate. In other words, we're the suckers in this situation. They've sold it as a huge achievement that they've removed the fence, wonderful, great, we'll be able to go from one place to another, yes, perfect, great, fantastic, but security management. Spain will handle customs and other management tasks that currently cost us a lot of money, since everything is measured in money. But all the benefits generated by Gibraltar, which are not few in terms of company registrations, business, and so on and so forth, all of that remains British. Therefore, right now, what they do is not spend a single cent and receive everything that Gibraltar generates.
It's clear in your report, it's official. We pay for the security of the border, the customs control costs, the management, the surveillance, the land protection, the maritime protection of the rock, which we pay for, and it's theirs. And we do pay for all that here, but it's still in the hands of the English. Come on, what a deal Ursula von der Leyen has made. Mala maravilloso. Who does this woman work for? Wonderful. Incredible. She's incredible.
These people are an ocean of knowledge that's 0.5 millimeter deep. When you go a little deeper, Albert, and you say, damn, what garbage. I mean, everyone scores goals on us. Even Morocco scores goals on us.
Well, there's only one explanation, and it's, remember Abalos, when he stopped being a minister, what did he do? He took a car, left his security detail, and went to Gibraltar. How many accounts does the network have there, if they have any? Would that justify these favors in exchange for not investigating?
The thing is, we have a supposed tax haven right in the middle of Spain, well, in the south of Spain, and on top of that, we have to protect it with our own money. It's outrageous.
Pablo Cambronero, keep investigating. Hey, you don't take a vacation break, just like AECID doesn't either. They'll keep handing out money, right?
Their activity increases during vacation, so you need to be more alert then. Last week, they handed out 72 million euros to international organizations. So it's not that they've stopped, it's that now I can't stop.
Incredible. Keep investigating. Big hug, Pablo. I follow you on social media. Take care.
Greetings to everyone, Albert. It's a pleasure to be with you, as always.
Castillón Confidencial by Albert Castillón.
We wanted to help our children build their future by taking out several loans. Then the pandemic hit, and we ended up depending on them and our relatives.
If you are in a situation of insolvency, contact us and we will tell you if you meet the requirements of the Second Chance Law. Sin Deuda Group, your second chance. Oportunidad.
Welcome to the world of Vichy Catalan, where authenticity and health go hand in hand. Here, we know how to have fun and take care of ourselves. A place to make every moment unique and savor it intensely. We look forward to welcoming you to the home of sparkling water, Vichy Catalan.
Gentlemen, victory continues to dominate the news. The country has not stopped. But the excitement, the smiles of people on the street, the desire for things to change, to give us some joy. After 8 years of disappointment with the government we've had, that's what the World Cup and Spain's victory have achieved, here and all over the world. We're going to Bogota, Colombia. Pilar Almagro, how are you, dear friend?
Hello, well, I'm very happy, and here people stopped me on the street to congratulate me.
Really? But here they know you're Spanish, that's why.
That's why. They say once our team Colombia lost, now we're rooting for Spain.
But man, it's just that
there are 1 million Colombians in Spain, of course. All the relatives are still here, so there's a really strong connection.
Thank you. So they who were already out of the World Cup supported Spain more than Argentina. That's good. I like that. I like that. Well, you're delighted. Did you see how Barcelona was? It was turned upside down. Huh?
How nice. In the places where the independence movement said there were no Spaniards. Well, there you go.
We're seeing images from the night, which was extremely long in Barcelona. As always, the city of Barcelona, the mayor, very left-wing, very sectarian, practically banned the big screens on the street. People would go to Badalona, they'd go to places where there were more regular people, right? And what happened all over Spain was just crazy. Despite some incidents, as you know, in the Basque Country and Navarre, caused by a very small handful of insurgents, you know what's bad? The people who undermine the Spanish national team, for example, the Basque Lehendakari, the PNV, Esquerra, Junts or Bildu, they're all partners of Sanchez. It's a coincidence. The people who hate the national team the most, who criticize it the most, well, it can't be a coincidence, right? Right, Pilar? No.
Totalitarians, they're the totalitarians. But look at Sanchez. Now he wants the symbolic capital from this victory. Now he does.
He's the same as when he cheated on his doctoral thesis, always the first to see what he can grab, what he can steal, and then claim it as his own. That's very typical of him. Let me greet the person who sent me this image you've just seen. It's Said Saide Chalinchon, usually in Barcelona, today in Madrid. How are you? How's it going?
Very well here near Plaza Mayor, enjoying the day and a very nice event that just happened. And about what happened a few days ago in Barcelona, I was out on the street. I was out at night on the street. It was brutal, impressive beyond measure. You couldn't measure it, right? The excitement. In fact, I don't know who set up a screen, but they put up a screen at the forum somewhere near the beach. It was right there. And people came singing the national anthem in Catalonia right in the middle of the beach, because there's a video of it. I'll send it to you, full of people. Well, you could see the screen way off at the far end. But anyway, in the United States, even the United States ambassador here in Madrid, they've been enthusiastically celebrating Spain's victory.
It's the sea of people that Said is talking about. And well, you tell someone this is Barcelona. I want to see it like that on the day of reflection before a regional election, for example. Because look, the three of us are from Barcelona, either by adoption or by birth. The three of us know that Catalonia is full of people like this. But then the one who wins is the one who wins, and the one who governs is the one who governs. And in the small towns, don't even get me started. Something's wrong, right, Said?
Yes, totally. But I'm not Catalan by generation, not by genetics. I'm the great-grandson of a Catalan.
It's true. It's true. You could vote from Havana. You're the grandchildren law in the flesh. Not me, not me.
I became a citizen through the grandchildren law, but oh well.
I know already. Look at Hey, why are our compatriots, friends, and neighbors hiding all year, Pilar? And now they have a reason and they overcome their fear and come out to say what they think, even though they think the same thing even when they don't say it publicly, right?
Well, because of coercion. I lived for several years in the smallest town in Catalonia. There, the only crime that has happened in 300 years was the mayor's son, who was shot twice, once in the head with pellets. He's alive, in the head and in the chest. It was actually a Maghrebi squatter, and he simply reported it to the court. And as soon as he found out, well, when he went to get eggs in the morning, he shot him twice. He also shot 2 Mossos de Esquadra members and is now in jail. Well, in that town, logically, where only 15 people vote, the whole family and so on, they all voted for Vox that time. You can't imagine. They came into our house with cameras, they painted swastikas, they destroyed the town, calling us all sorts of things. So that's the fear that exists. But look at what we're capable of when spontaneous order and meritocracy take charge instead of just having a membership card.
What you said about meritocracy is so important because that's the great success of this team. You're in Madrid because today you're going to host an event for Hispanidad Week with Isabel Díaz Ayuso. So you're holding the preliminary meetings for what will happen in October. Tell us something about it, Saide.
Well, there are going to be a lot of wonderful shows. I have the privilege of having organized some of them myself. We still haven't been given permission to talk about things, but a lot of things are going to happen. In fact, we're going to bring some very important international music personalities here, anti-communists, of course, because I don't hire people who are communists.
Of course, of course.
We're going to bring him here to your show so that they can tell our brothers, our viewers, our dear confidential followers what's going to happen in the Hispanic world, which is going to be super fun, super anti-communist, and super pro-Hispanic.
And it's going to be in Madrid. You're kind of like Albert Boadella, right? You live in Catalonia, but you work in Madrid. It's kind of like that.
That's right, exactly. Because a well-known musician from Catalonia when I was active in the Green Party, and then I switched to the Blue Party. Now I'm not in any party, although I collaborate with everyone and sometimes we do things together. He told me, so you're part of something, I don't know what, but you're not performing anymore. I'm going to talk to the Association of Managers and Agents of Catalonia so that they don't hire you anymore. And that seemed to me like being in Cuba indeed, because if you don't subscribe to a political idea, well, you can't play, you can't perform, you can't do anything anyway. A pretty sad story, but well, look, here I am with the Hispanics.
Here you are on La Mas Que Nadie. Well, more videos that you all are sending me. Larios Street, Malaga. I wish I could be there and I would take a dip at the beach. Look at how it is. The summer song was sung all over Spain. Poncho, who is in the United Kingdom and it's confidential, sends me a picture of his daughter and husband in Milan also wearing the shirt and shouting. Then in Milan, a group of Spaniards, thank you, Poncho, or the anthem they sang in Pamplona, you might say it doesn't matter. Yes, yes. There are places where you can't go out wearing the Spain jersey. In Spain, this is from Marisa. I think it's about time. You're a musician, so write some lyrics for the Spanish anthem already, Saide, please. Because the la 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 thing, I can't stand it. I don't get it.
There was already a contest and Marta Sanchez's version won, which isn't bad. But people still don't really like the anthem having lyrics. Imagine that. It's a cultural thing.
It can't be something official. Like having a public contest and letting people vote, for example, right?
We'd have to convince His Majesty to call for a contest to write lyrics for the anthem.
All right, let's go.
I already like that it doesn't have any.
Why?
Yes, because we're distinctive in that respect too. Every anthem has lyrics that quickly become outdated. I mean, the lyrics here, the Colombian anthem is beautiful musically, but of course the lyrics are really outdated. I mean, everything is so grandiose and so on. And the length, please. So we're distinctive even in that respect. Our anthem has never had lyrics, and that's a Spanish peculiarity. That covers everything.
Singing in the Catalan anthem, what's the most violent thing you've seen in your life, which talks about, well, bon cop de falç, I mean, a good blow or a sickle strike it would be, to amputate, to cut. Well, it's a tremendous thing, isn't it? In Catalonia, it's been accepted, but here the Cant dels Ocells is the Catalan anthem that we've liked the most all our lives. Maybe the lyrics mean something after all, right? Size, you know? No.
Yes, I prefer the scandal of those six over the Reaper, which is something extremely violent. Here, besides, it's also very tragic, isn't it? Catalonia, my God.
Very tragic, very tragic. While we were crying, Puyol was going to get paid. Yes, to get paid. Everything was very tragic. Well, this is what's happening, gentlemen. I'm getting a lot of messages asking me if this is exportable. That is, if this wave of patriotism, which is very healthy, can carry over from sports into politics as well. If we were to call for a rally in the street now to tell Sanchez enough is enough, would it have a better or worse outcome? Can someone ride this wave, Pilar, or not?
This is the emotional part, not the political one, but it's very important. It's about standing up. I mean, we don't know our true height until we stand up. And here, a humble team has stood up. Humble. Here, there haven't been the egos you see in other teams where it's all about one star player and everyone else just fawns over them. The coach himself is a decent person. The coach is a decent person. Humble without showing off. And well, that's what defines us. I mean, meritocracy, work, continuous effort, teamwork. Go to this. So, wow, let's take advantage of this. Let's get up. These are our true values. And ladies and gentlemen, it's over. No more being governed by the worst among us. And I say the worst because the facts prove it. I mean, a lot of people are already in jail or are already being prosecuted. The other day I read that there are now more people under investigation, on trial and convicted than they have MPs in parliament.
Yes, please. There are almost 140 people charged from Sanchez's circle or the PSOE, so more than the number of MPs they have. And today we started the program explaining that Julito Martinez has already spilled the beans. He's going to do it before the judge, or he's doing it right now, and he's telling everything about Zapatero. Come on, Zapatero is headed for court and probably prison very soon, right? I was surprised to see that Sanchez wasn't down there next to Donald Trump and the king elbowing his way in to get in the photo. Saide, all of this is protocol. I know that. But if he'd gone down, maybe they would have sung him the summer song, right?
Totalmente. Totally the summer song and the remixes of the summer song. He didn't go down because he knew people were going to sing him that beautiful song they always sing, I Like Fruits and all those things.
Yes.
Also, there's a photo circulating on social media showing the king looking at him like this. And he's completely paralyzed there doing the Trump bend, kneeling down, and the king saying, "That's where I wanted to see you, man, to see you there."
There's a message that Jose Antonio sent me which has to do with another photo when he shakes hands with Donald Trump. They're looking at the photo. It looks bad because there was a bulletproof glass, but you can see how he's shaking hands with Donald Trump. Notice the detail of the bracelet. Yes, Sanchez with a bracelet with the Spanish flag. Do you remember what the government delegate in Madrid said? That it was bad. There are patriots, one from Bildu, who wear the little flag on their wrist. Well, listen to the message from Jose Antonio.
I would like to know why Pedro Sanchez, when shaking hands with Donald Trump, is wearing the little Spanish bracelet on his wrist, when everyone knows how much trouble the Vox political party got for wearing that little bracelet.
Why was he wearing it, Pilar? Any idea?
Well, this guy has no principles. We've already seen that. For him, anything goes to win one more vote. So in his government, well, it's just like him. Corruption isn't the exception. Corruption is the rule. And for these people, everything is loot. For them, Spain is just loot to be divided. So if they have to wear the little bracelet to get more loot and for a longer time, then they'll wear it. I think that must be it. Thank you.
This guy is able to go to Palestine with the Palestinian flag, then to Israel and look Jewish. As long as there's business, right? Do you agree, Saide?
Thank you. I was saying that it's a lizard. Literal.
Yeah, it changes its skin color depending on the environment, right? Yeah. Chameleon.
Yeah, if it's cold, it turns one color. If it's hot, it turns another. If it has to stick its little tongue out at Donald, it does it in the end, whatever it has to do, all for clinging to power. I'm sure that all this patriotic feeling we're experiencing, not just with the victory of the Spanish team, but also with what the Pope did, which is a sign that this is a Christian country. Above all the gender ideology and all the globalist projects and everything else, this is a Christian country. The number of kids who were there in front of their representatives, right? The Catholics kneeling in silence, reflecting, committed to freedom, to the future. So since you know that I love this country very much, I believe this will end up being positive and that it will eventually be reflected at the polls. Thank you.
I hope so. About Sanchez's role in the World Cup. Antonio, Diego, Juanvi, and Mark, thank you.
I thought it was very positive that later, during the World Cup trophy ceremony and the awards to the different players of the Spanish team, etc., the second highest authority of the state didn't appear at all. The king did his part, and most importantly, it shows that together we are capable of anything.
What's happening with human values in this country? Your brother is barred from office for corruption. Your wife is going to stand trial for corruption and nothing happens. And there he is with the king, laughing and joking as if nothing was happening here.
Spain won despite Sanchez, who is a jinx. Now, what benefits Sanchez is that there will be many weeks of talk about Spain's victory. So they completely forget about his corruption, his psychopathy, and his whole entourage.
The same handful of scruffy leftist types always cause trouble, like today in the Basque Country. But it's really nice that all Spaniards, regardless of colors or parties, are united watching the Spanish national team. Damn, and excuse my language, but they should do the same to get the tyrant out of Moncloa.
There were people who told us these days, wow, how easy it is to fill Plaza Colon for a public screening, and how hard it is when we call people to defend the country and to ensure a better future for our children and grandchildren. That's the power that football has, right, Pilar? No ideology can easily draw that kind of crowd.
They're using ideology to divide us. That's true. So that's enough. I'm not a big football fan or anything like that either, but this time I am. And I was here watching the match and the reaction. I think it's a way to let off steam from what they're doing to us, not just in Spain, but throughout the Western world. Look, if we put Sanchez together with the digital euro, with chat control, and with the 2030 agenda, we can see the map they're leading us to. I mean, the digital euro is just an extra, a control guard. And all of this, these people love it. They're totalitarians.
Totally. Hey, but hadn't they postponed the digital euro for later? Yes.
Well, no. Actually, they want to impose it already in 2029. And I mean, that's it. I mean, first the money is created, it's created. I mean, let's look at the history. First, money is created, and it's created spontaneously. Instead of bartering, you look for something that works for all trades as a medium of exchange, as a unit of account, and as a store of value. That is, you can save it for the future, for your retirement, for example. Yes, that's the first thing. Then governments come and take it. How do they monopolize it? They mint their own currency and require taxes to be paid in it. Then they devalue it. Remember 1971 when Nixon removed the gold standard from the dollar, which was the last thing we had left. And now we have this little money. Let me see if I have some here. Well, this little piece of paper that is worthless, but we all accept it. And with it, we can buy rice or healthcare or whatever. And now, as if that weren't enough, now they want to turn it into control software, which is the last possible degradation. So this is what these people are up to. And of course, all the totalitarians love this because they're going to have control over our present and our future.
Yeah, well, everyone except them, right? Because now that we were talking about Zapatero, the tax office didn't file the declaration for Julio Martinez, his front man. 4 years, nobody saw the jewels. They don't know anything about Zapatero, what he did or didn't do. I mean, they don't watch each other, Saidi. There's some kind of control here, depending on who you are, if you're against me. They go after you if you're not on my side, but if you're one of mine, the paperwork, the investigation gets lost.
Well, I'm going to tell you a personal story. I just paid some taxes a bit late. Honestly, I paid them and they hadn't demanded anything from me. I went to pay them voluntarily and they fined me.
And did they fine you?
Yes, I had to file an appeal saying, come on, I paid you. Why are you fining me? Why are you fining me, right? If I paid you, why are you fining me? I don't understand. I had to file an appeal waiting for them to respond, but it's curious. There's always they're always sending me news and things, and I see that this guy, Julito, that 4-year-old, is going to file his tax return. Well, it happens to you one day. Yes. What's going on with him?
Since you've been here on the street today, you're joining us from right near Madrid's Plaza Mayor. You haven't stopped greeting people. Who are you greeting?
Just people who walk by and say hi. People who pass by and greet me and all that, I don't know.
They're confidential sources. Because that hair doesn't go unnoticed, for sure.
Some are tourists anyway. It seems that, people mistake me for someone else.
Watch out in case one of Castro's envoys comes by and greets you too.
I'm keeping watch so nothing happens to me. Did you meet at this time?
Keep watch. God, have you been to Cuba, Pilar?
Yes. Yes, I have been. I went scuba diving and I stayed in the homes of different Cubans. And I brought basic things like glasses, for example, and I saw, for example, what the hospitals were like. I mean, in the hospitals, you have to bring your own sheets and your own light bulb because there's no light.
It's incredible, Este. Well, in Venezuela, you have to bring your own thread, sutures, and hydrogen peroxide or bandages. It's just unbelievable. Communism, what communism does, my God. We're talking about the civic action of protesting against a fine they charge you. Look, there's a man, I think it's something to consider now that you're all going to be using the car a lot for trips. Do you understand? There's a man who recorded a video. The road is in such bad condition, and the video shows it, that when he gets to the toll to pay, he says, I'm not paying. I'm not paying for the service I've been given. Watch.
Come on, not even remotely normal. Not even fucking close to normal, man. Not even fucking close to normal.
Destroyed road full of men.
We will assist you shortly. Thank you for waiting.
Hi, look, I'm not gonna pay, so could you open it for me? Should I tell you about the condition of the roads? I traveled from Galicia and paid a fortune. My bumper broke. I almost broke a rim.
If you don't pay, you'll get a fine that's going to be 3 or 4 times higher.
Well, we'll see about that. I've decided not to pay. That's it.
He's recording it.
Perfect. Wonderful. I'm not gonna pay if the roads aren't fixed.
Anyway, you are actually breaking a pretty serious rule by not having license plates. Yes.
You're either going to pay 3 or 4 times more in fines, or you'll have to call the police.
I didn't know you were with the civil guard now. I didn't know you were with the civil guard to be weighing in. Well, that's fine. Go ahead and call the civil guard on me. Fine. Very well.
The man waits.
Good morning. Yes, hello? Yes.
Okay, yes. My colleague confirms you've been informed about the road condition.
That's right.
And as I told you, if it happens to you again, well, obviously, no, it shouldn't happen.
No, of course, next time I'm going to go at 80 and record everything. Because it's not even remotely normal, of course, but in all of them, not just this one, in all of them. Thank you very much. Very kind of you.
They let him through without paying. He had to spend quite a while arguing. Yes, 1 minute, no the next, I'll call the civil guard. This is civic action. I always support this kind of attitude, especially with the politeness this man shows. There isn't a single harsh word here. But civic action must show that we don't all just go along with it. That something must be done when things aren't right. Why should we pay if the road is destroyed? It seems like a form of protest to me. There it is if you want. Some strikes called it a sit-down strike. Others called it a Japanese-style strike. Well, this kind of civic action, Pilar, I don't think there's any crime in what we've heard, just a negotiation backed by explanations and arguments. Why don't we do it more often?
Well, because we have to be willing to face the consequences, and not everyone is willing to face the consequences. Your own show has consequences for you. It's had consequences for Science de Sahida, and it has consequences for me, and we have to be willing to accept them. I mean, the confiscatory taxes, because they are confiscatory and they squeeze all of us citizens, and the increase in debt. So we're spending 228 days of our yearly work just to pay taxes. Just 137 for us and our families. And on top of that, record high debt in absolute terms, which means future taxes. I mean, no, it's always the same people who end up paying for it. But besides the roads, look at the mud, there are debts, look at the Dana. I mean, paying this outrageous amount of taxes precisely so that when we need them, they're not there. I mean, it's actually a criminal act. And in Abalos's sentence, it said so. Criminal organization, I mean, what they're doing to us has been recognized by a judge.
Saide, would you do it?
Yes, of course. Look, I'm the living example of resistance during the year 2020 when they imposed all those lockdowns on us, all those violations of our fundamental rights. You couldn't go from one neighborhood to another because you were breaking the rules. I don't know what, but I traveled all over Spain. I didn't get vaccinated and I resisted because the situation was really complex. There was a moment when I said, my goodness, how far is this going to go? But I held on. And obviously, when you hold on and when you resist these kinds of impositions, well, there are consequences. Because really, all these restrictions are made to, serve as a warning to others. Don't do this or this will happen to you. But you feel really good in the end when that whole 2020 project was over. I felt really good saying I resisted, I didn't give in, I didn't let them impose on me. I didn't let myself be dominated, and I made it. And I remember once a police officer said to me, "Hey, show me the document you have." He said, "I've never seen a document like this before. You are the ones who resist, we don't resist. No, we don't believe in this lockdown or project. That doesn't mean the disease didn't exist, that there weren't, that there haven't been, that people haven't died, that people haven't passed away because of it." A series of no. They say this whole project felt like the book 1984. I said, but where are we? But I resisted. That's how it was. Thank you.
Yes, that's very good. This civil attitude, this resistance is always necessary. Don't think that it's not needed now. Now, well, maybe more than ever in our country, there's not such a big distance between what happened in 2020, what Saide was talking about, and the digital euro that Pilar was talking about. And those constant controls they want to impose on all of us, right? Deep down, what you were saying about the digital euro and what Saide says about the inoculation stage are closely related. The path, especially for the European Union, is already clear. It's interesting, you're the president of the Alliance Against Communism, Saide. Do you want to see a communist in a bikini? In a pool? On a paradise beach? Let me introduce you to Yolanda Diaz. While here, and you communists pay taxes, right? And they fine you. Yolanda Diaz, as Vito Quiles says, went to a beach with a hotel which is a paradise in the Greek islands in Greece. 700 euros per night. I'll leave it to your imagination to think about whether she pays for it or we pay for it. In the end, we'd still be the ones paying for it even if she pays, right? Because her only job is in the ministries. Is it very communist to go to a Greek beach with the state paying for its site? Is it?
Yeah, it is. Well, yes. Well, yes, totally. That's the real deal. If someone wants to understand what the true face of socialism, communism, or progressivism is, tomorrow they might call it some green dog on a bicycle, but it's the same thing. It's this. It's this. Do as I say, not as I do. Submit yourselves to poverty, go hungry, sacrifice yourselves for a supposed homeland, for a supposed ideology, because I'm not going to stop living well. I'm not going to be without electricity. I'm not going to be without food. I'm going to stay at the best hotels. But you should sacrifice. They're doing well up there. So when someone claims to be a communist, I don't just believe it. I mean, I don't know if there's some kind of trick where you start getting paid for being dumb, or maybe being a communist literally means being dumb, or I don't know, because there's so much evidence throughout human history that communists are shameless freeloaders, thieves, that I don't understand how there are still people who believe in that.
Yeah. What a vacation. And you and I working, you in Colombia, me in Madrid, just like Saide, traveling for work. How many days of vacation this summer, Pilar? I'm not even saying months anymore. I'm saying days.
No, 0. Today, for example, is a holiday here in Colombia, but it's not in Peru or in Chile. So I work every day, whether it's a holiday or not. And the weekend, well, for whatever time I have left, that's how most people in the world work, except for some, depending on who they are. And to get their privileges, they have to put their boot on the rest of us, just like Saida said. And the whole issue of control is ultimately for this. It's like the yuan in China, controlled anonymity, as they call it. Anonymity for us and absolute transparency for them. I mean, everything is heading in the same direction, toward the totalitarianism that we already know well. And the world feels much smaller to us with totalitarian regimes. Islam is a theocratic totalitarianism of expansion and conquest. It's another form of totalitarianism. For women, the world feels even smaller because honestly, what woman would go on vacation to Afghanistan or Colombia or North Korea or any of these places? The world becomes smaller for both women and men. It feels smaller for us. And now they want it to be very small in Europe too.
How awful. Xavier tells me, he says, I'm discovering that there are more than 4,000 civil servants in Spain who get paid without working. That is to say, and it's true, what we're going to tell you is real. 4,000 successful civil service candidates who secured a post, but the central government, since it's a mess, doesn't know where to place them. So they're getting paid between 1,000 and 1,200 each month waiting for an assignment. 4,000 earning between 1,000 and 1,200 as if there weren't a shortage of staff across government, in the justice system, in healthcare, everywhere. Well, there they are. Since they're so inept that they can't place them, they tell them, don't worry, you'll get paid, which is a way of saying, keep quiet and don't ask for a position, and I'll give it to you when I don't have a Jessica or a Claudia to place, right? You get what I mean. That's what it's all about. By the way, Jessica has appeared in court under investigation for influence peddling and embezzlement. It's about time. Let's see if we finally see someone give the money back here, because just being charged isn't enough for me. Things are way too soft. Well, I don't want to get into the sadness of everyday life just yet. Let me live a few more hours with the excitement of the World Cup. We heard from Annabel, Mario de Nigris, a Venezuelan, Silvia, Sofia, Claudio, and Bernabe.
Today we have to celebrate, of course, the World Cup, because I don't think it's frivolous. I think it's really symbolic, right? The unity of a soccer team and the unity of Spain. That division they want to create doesn't really exist.
Good morning, brother. God bless you. Congratulations on that great victory. Spain was exceptional since the World Cup began. Hopefully this will help unite all Spaniards and not allow Pedro Sanchez to keep advancing in that totalitarian and criminal system. Congratulations and congratulations. Celebrate, celebrate big. The World Cup is the hardest thing to win, and on top of that, you have a record, reaching a final and winning it with only one goal against you. God bless you.
It fills me with pride to see the unity of all of Spain against the tyrant, and to see that when we really want to, we are capable. When we want to, we are capable of coming together, and the fact that soccer has brought out such a huge wave of people, that sea of red, it's wonderful. I would like that red wave to now take to the streets to defend everything that is ours and is being stolen from us. We have to make sure that wave carries over into everyday life.
I'm so full of joy today. Thank goodness that at least something good fills our souls from time to time. Well, by the way, here almost everyone was rooting for Spain, supporting Spain. And well, there are also many Argentinians living here.
Argentina was really embarrassing. 90 minutes without taking a single shot at Spain's goal. And then they expect to do everything they didn't do in 15 minutes of overtime.
Soccer can be a unifying element. And that goal by Ferran could already be called the goal of hope. The hope that all of Spain will finally wake up, come together, and realize that it can and must change things.
Luis de la Fuente has worked that miracle of choosing people based on merit, not on reputation, and of forming a team, not relying on the individuality of a leader. In Spain, you know our country, but you were born in another country, Saide. Are we people who work as a team or not?
Yes, if they set their minds to it. And no, for example, I think it's a flaw of all Hispanics. We're like, no. I think it's an ego thing. I think it has to do with the Golden Age and with the Baroque period. The Baroque period makes us, in a way, be somewhat fratricidal, but the Spanish people are an incredible people who, when they decide, well, we have to come together, when they do come together, it's impressive. And here is the living proof.
Yes. Do you agree, Pilar?
I think individuality is also very important. So we have to balance one thing with the other. And I think on one hand, we are individualistic. In fact, we come from a Greco-Roman, Judaic, and Christian culture where salvation is individual. But on the other hand, as human beings and biologically, we need each other. So when both things come together, when envy is removed, which is what prevents us from coming together as a group to achieve something, then we are capable of great accomplishments. Spain has been the most impressive empire in the history of humanity. Our earlier discussion on Hispanidad and where there's space to discuss it now. We have done that and it's still there. I mean, I'm in another part of the Hispanic world, and before we were all the same people, all of us. They wanted to destroy us, and well, they succeeded, and they did it through the back door, but they succeeded. Well, it's about time we realize that, and that on the one hand, we act as individuals. I mean, merit is personal. And on the other hand, I think that if we are able to work as a team, we can do it very well.
The thing is, you've said the key word, envy. There are those who say that it's the original Spanish disease, our most serious problem. What would it be in Colombia or in Chile or in Peru? Is there a capital sin that defines them or not?
And here they call it malicia indigena in Colombia too. Yes, like a kind of itch. But look, it's that malicia indigena. It's like you're already looking at everyone out of the corner of your eye to see what they're doing wrong. And what they've injected into all of us in general, all of the West, is communism, Marxism, the Marxist view of life, where anyone who gets a benefit has to be torn apart. Yes, the cross was valuable to us, of course it was. If you plant a tomato seed, you expect multiple tomatoes, not just to keep the seed. Obviously, if not, we wouldn't have come out of the caves. Me, as Saide, I don't hire people who are communists in the company because the first thing they tell me is that I'm exploiting them. I say no, for God's sake. I mean, that's the last thing I intend. Please go somewhere else where you won't be exploited. I mean, yes, we have that thing that's been mentioned.
And in Cuba, don't even get me started, right? What would be the capital sin?
Well, that's it. It's Cainism, envy, exactly. That's why communism triumphs, because communism is an ideology that feeds the basest human feelings. And I think one of the basest human feelings is envy, you know? I don't like it. I don't like that you have an extra pair of shoes, that you have, I don't know, that you brush your teeth. I don't like that. And since I don't like it, I report you, so they take it away from you, because if I'm screwed, you have to be screwed too. The breeding ground for communism to develop is envy.
How terrible. Well, more. Yesterday we had Sofia de Bourbon here, the king's cousin, one of the organizers of an event in Marbella next Sunday, the 26th at 8 in the evening. And she made it very clear that if she wanted, she could invite her cousin to see if he joins the March for Dignity. Listen to her. All that's missing is for a Bourbon to do it too. You know who I mean.
Exactly. Well, you already know that I've tried with him in every possible way, and I say things very clearly. You've always known that. So either he steps forward or we civilians do it, which is what we have to do. And besides, there are many of us and we can stand up to the others. If we all come together, look, the ideal thing would be to hold a demonstration all over Spain on the same day.
I agree. We should hold a demonstration all over Spain on the same day. From Italy, Sofia shares her opinion about this interview.
His Majesty Don Felipe II was born as heir to the crown, but I think that not everyone who is entitled to it by birth is necessarily qualified for it. And Don Felipe, with all due respect, I believe he doesn't have enough qualities to be the king of a nation as great as our country.
I understand that during the World Cup, they get along and are friendly with each other. I don't want to see the king angry with Sanchez, but is it really necessary for them to get along so well, to be so chummy? How far should the gestures, the hugs, the giggles go? Does the king realize what Spain is like right now? What we're going through? Sometimes I have doubts. Saide.
The other day, I was with a very influential person, meeting with an ambassador from a very powerful state. And he told me that in his meeting with the king was aware of everything and very clear and very conscious of everything on a global and local level. Why does he keep his crony around? Why does he behave that way? We would have to ask His Majesty why he does that. Although we must not forget, I live in Catalonia, that the king stood up for us Catalans in 2017. It wasn't his place, it wasn't his responsibility, it wasn't his role, so to speak, and he came out to stand up for the unity of Spain. So maybe at some point he'll have to stand up again because I have my theory.
I have my theory and I'll share it here. The king dares to stand up to Mariano Rajoy but not to Sanchez. Mariano Rajoy may have been a better or worse politician, but he was a Democrat. Sanchez is a criminal organization capable of anything, and anything means even ending the monarchy. What I don't understand is instead of being the shield, the brake, he becomes an apparent ally. I hope he isn't fooling himself and isn't actually an ally, just flattering him because a narcissist loves that. Which theory do you agree with, Pilar?
Well, with yours. With yours. I mean, I'm also glad that the king exists because otherwise Sanchez would be above. But you, for example, Albert, you say that you suspect that maybe he wants the Third Republic, right? Well, more and more, it seems like we're heading that way. And the king has to be extremely careful, no doubt. He has to be extremely careful because the moment he steps out of line, they'll have the perfect excuse to get rid of him, which is exactly what they want. But even so, gestures, as you say, are very important. They're very relevant. And honestly, a smile shouldn't be given to someone who wants to lead us into totalitarianism.
We agree. Well, Isabel sent me the last message. It's from a girl named Donna. I like it more and more when young people grab a phone, put it in front of them, and post on social media or send us a video here saying what they think they are the future. And some have woken up and now want to wake up others. Meet Donna. She's very active on TikTok.
Honestly, I really don't know what we have to do for you to truly wake up, for you to really say, fuck it, I'm going out into the fucking street. No, staying at home doesn't solve anything either. Staying at home doesn't help either. What about not being able to turn on the air conditioning because you know you're going to get a huge bill? What about saying, wow, I probably need this and that to eat, but I'd better not buy it next month or I'll run out of money? I mean, even having to finance grocery shopping, we're reaching astronomical levels. Whoever doesn't want to see it is just blind.
The message is much longer, but it's clear where it's going. We can't stand miserable wages anymore, rich country taxes, sometimes miserable services, lack of freedom, social control. Will it be the youth who explode aid?
As for young people, look, let's go back to 2020. What happened in 2020 raised the question of whether this generation, now between 18 and 21 or 22 years old, was going to become a lobotomized generation. I think 2020 changed them a lot because suddenly they found themselves locked up like animals. No, I don't think there was any other way when they locked us up like that, when there were people who had to say goodbye to their parents through a screen. Horrible things, right? That happened. And what happened in 2020 changed young people. There are a lot of young people in many places around the world, and especially in Spain, right? But what we're talking about is that they're waking up, that they're realizing we live in some kind of matrix, right? Because that's one way to put it. It's a kind of 1984 for the 21st century. And it makes me happy to see the kids. Because in the end, what that tells us is that our future is guaranteed and we have the next generation for this battle because we are going to win this war for Spain's freedom, for the defense of the state. Someone will have to take over, and we're already getting gray hairs.
Well, but that's fine. When people say that youth are worse than ever, I think the opposite. People do evolve. And when there was the flood in Valencia without anyone calling them, who went there without asking? My children all went without telling me they were going. They didn't even ask. I have a lot of hope in the youth of this country, and I also think they are very well informed, more than it seems, although just in case it would be good if they listened to us and watched us from time to time. Pilar, what do you think?
I'm not that optimistic. In the marches for dignity, I don't see young people. I see very few. And that says it all, because these are marches where no political party is mentioned. So everyone who disagrees with what they're doing to us is welcome. And yet there are no young people. And then, of course, cultural Marxism is what they subject them to from the first year of kindergarten all the way through to a doctorate at the universities. So, well, here in Colombia, the next government is clear about this. And they've already appointed a minister of education who is going after this, to change and expand. And so there won't be so much indoctrination because they graduate, they are tested throughout their entire academic life. They're basically tested on gender ideology, the 2030 agenda, and so on. They've been indoctrinated for 30 years of indoctrination. So I honestly believe that the great Gramsci has won, and that's why things are the way they are, because many young people already vote, and they vote the way they do.
Say them.
Pilar, let me tell you something. Because I was a young man who was indoctrinated, and I learned to live in two worlds. And what a lot of kids are doing nowadays is living in two worlds. In the world where you have to smile and say yes to the 2030 agenda to pass the exam, and then behind the scenes, they're stirring things up on social media and doing everything they have to do. There's a system that's being imposed on us, but there are a lot of people who are resisting. Precisely because they've realized that it's a model of slavery and they're looking for something else. Maybe they don't like our methods, maybe they don't like our ways, but that doesn't mean they don't agree with us or that they don't want to take action. I think that's it. I think it's very important to convey that message because as things are becoming more and more like Cuba every day, we're going to find ourselves in many situations. Those people who have to go to a march, because if they don't go to the march, they're going to fail them or similar things and they don't agree with that and they don't care. As soon as possible, they'll do everything to get rid of those ideas.
I hope it's true, although at the same time, it's sad that in the 21st century, you can't say what you think openly because people turn against you at university, at work, wherever. Thank you for your thoughts, my friends. It's been a pleasure. Say hello to the people in Colombia. I love them very much. Take care.
Well, until next time, confidentials.
Thank you, dear Pilar. Dear Saide, say hello to Yuso for me. Tell her to see if she can get Feisho out and take over herself, please. A hug.
Long live Hispanidad and Philip II.
Goodbye. Take care, my friend. Last messages, Susana Gosk, newsroom, tell us goodbye.
We're still here in the newsroom of Castillon Confidencial. Greetings to everyone, and especially to the confidentials who keep sending us their messages and comments. This is the case of MM Cap, who says unity in the national team is what all Spaniards need right now. He also says he's sending us greetings from Portugal, a warm greeting to you and to all the contributors, cultured, brave, patriotic people. A hug to everyone. Don't stop fighting for Spain. Stay strong, Spanish brothers, on to victory. Mari Carmen also says that you can see the elegance and values of good people in everything that's happened these past few days. No insults, just calm. It's very moving. Juan says bravo for Doña Sofia de Borbon, whom we had on with Albert. The noble class of Spain must take the lead, stay strong, and not allow Spain to be destroyed. Their ancestors, our ancestors too, are watching. Margarita says she hopes so. This should be extended to all the corrupt people and corruption that we are enduring right now. That powerful unity throughout the whole country, all over Spain, on the same day, at the same time, until we put an end to all this indecency from everyone and at every level. I'm sure that we'll probably start living much better. One says that we have to stand as Spaniards, but also defend our country just as much or even more than we defend our national team. We've shown it these days, and we have to keep showing it, fighting to be a free country and a happy country, because that's what we don't have. And lastly, to Albert, Juanita says that Pedro Sanchez must be furious. To Albert, who hasn't been in the most important photo, in the photo with the presidents and alongside the presidents, he'll probably get a rash from it too. And we'll leave it here, Albert. It's so important that you keep following us every day. And for those people who are joining us and getting to know us, we have channels to follow those interesting interviews. Just like we have that digital newspaper that we talk about every day here, cashonconfidential.com, where you'll find those interviews. And most importantly, you'll be very well informed. Thank you very much, Albert.
Thank you very much, Susana, and I ask you for one more favor. You know that here, sometimes with a call or a gesture, we can move mountains. Look, I have received a message from an animal rights organization. Kema has a shelter for abandoned and mistreated dogs and all kinds of animals. I want you to listen to what he told me.
Today I'm here to ask for all the support in the world. We're going to fight against animal abuse. It's very important that you stay until the end. Here you have the first piece of evidence. 2 years ago, from Dion, the first complaint was filed about this dog that has been locked up in a kitchen and inside a cage for more than 2 years, never going outside. He's crying both day and night. Here's the first complaint. Absolutely nothing was done. The police showed up and nothing happened at all. The city council is aware. The police were called several more times. They went again, and the dog was still the same. The neighbors' complaints also made the police go several times, and nothing happened either. Here is Dean asking again what action the city council had taken. Here's the proof. And now the videos of the animal that has been, I repeat, locked in a kitchen inside a cage for 2 years, crying day and night without stopping. We kindly ask that the entire community, from Kemi Sumanada, everyone who loves animals, write to the city council, call the city council and ask. Please ask them to take action on this animal. We have a place for him. We have somewhere he can be safe and loved. Please, everyone, always with politeness and respect, write to the city council. Contact the city council and request urgent action for this animal. Thank you. Here are the images.
Can you imagine 2 years in a cage, locked up in that kitchen? People keep reporting it. It's the Torre la Vega City Council in Cantabria.
They say is animal welfare being funded? Let's see if it shows. Especially when it comes to immediate action in these cases. This needs to be solved. The message goes directly to Borja Sainz. Borja Sainz is the councilman in charge of making sure this doesn't happen, the one who should be doing something from the PSOE. But well, that could be from any party, but he's from the PSOE. Look, I'll give you the phone number of the Torre la Vega City Hall in case you can call and ask for an explanation about what they're doing, when they're going to fix it, what they're waiting for. The more calls, the better. Let's see if that way they get the message. 9428-12100, 9428-1210. 00. We have to get that animal out of that cage. It has a place to go. There are people. Chema will take it. He'll take care of it. Come on. It needs a decent life. Why do they vote for so many animal protection laws in Congress, and then, when it's time to act quickly, this happens in Spain? Whose responsibility is it? Look, I don't care. The immediate solution is for that animal to get out of that cage right now. Let's see if together, with the help of the insiders, we can make it happen. There's the number. You can still see it. City Hall of Torre la Vega. Friends, there's more in a minute. You're listening to Castillon Confidential.
The price of gold is hitting record highs. Those pieces of jewelry you no longer wear could solve many of your financial problems. But how can you trust where to go? Javier Peno is discreet and has been buying jewelry, diamonds, gold, and top watch brands like Cartier from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s for 36 years. And he always offers the highest appraisal. He has 6 stores in Cadiz, and the main one is in Madrid at 7 Arenal Street. Don't get confused. Number 7 brings luck. On the first floor, right next to Puerta del Sol, they don't close at midday. No one is going to pay you more. If you want to talk to Javier, call him on our behalf at 91 593 0491 593 0491 593 915 930491. Completely trustworthy.
And thank you very much, Janet, for lifting everyone's spirits.
Well, girl, I like your show because it has a lot of information, and whenever I can, I watch it because I'm interested in what's happening every day. Thank you very much for keeping us informed, and I hope that many more young people continue watching your show.
That's what we try to do, to make sure young people keep their eyes wide open and don't let themselves be fooled. I think they're better prepared than we are. I have no doubt about it. Maria Teresa in Uruguay is more Spanish than I am. Look, listen.
All together celebrating because Spain is the champion and people are rejoicing from the bottom of their hearts. With this victory, Spain is once again the most beautiful country, just as it deserves to be.
Ole, 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 and long live Uruguay and Montevideo, which is right there. It's confidential. A kiss. Well, we've received all kinds of things, but there's a very funny video message. Do you remember that photo of Messi washing a beautiful little black baby who was Lamine Yamal when he was little? It was part of a charity calendar. Well, now the photo that's going around is the other way around. Lamine bathing Messi, saying it's not your moment anymore, your time has passed. Life is cruel, but nothing is more honest. Thank you very much for sending it to me. And well, memes. Here we have it. Eduardo sent me this one. How curious, and everyone is proud to be Spanish. In the end, it turns out we're all fascists. Or this other one from Enrique, which I really liked. More people have sent it to me. Those of you who have Spain t-shirts, flags, or bracelets, take advantage. Put them on now because after Sunday we'll be fascists again. Or the last one, come on, one more that Santiago sent me. And he says, we Spaniards know how to play tennis. We know how to play soccer. Now all we need to do is learn how to vote. You nailed it. Thank you. We don't know how to vote. Well, although now we don't even need to vote anymore. Now Sanchez votes in our place. Friends, there's more. A wonderful guide was sent to me by Enrique with Sanchez, Millie, and Donald Trump. If Millie had gone to see the final on the field, thank you.
If Spain wins this World Cup, I promise I'll resign. And if Argentina wins, you leave the country, man. With you resigning and you leaving the country, Spain will have already won this World Cup, Pedrito. Thank you.
That's great. Not bad at all. Well, and another thing, Freud Lannister Sanchez wearing the Argentina jersey. Don't miss it. Thank you.
Well, I'm all set for the World Cup final and to support the Argentine national team. Some of you might ask me why I support Argentina. It's mainly because my beloved Moroccan national team was eliminated. My friend and partner Puigdemont's Catalonia doesn't exist. The Basque national team of my friends in ETA doesn't exist either. Therefore, I will not support a national team from a country where every time I go out on the street people shout at me, son of you-know-what. And that insinuates that Begonio, my idiot brother, and 95% of my party are corrupt. If this country can't appreciate someone as handsome and smart as me, I'll back their rivals. So I'll grab a little bag of happy white powder and take the Falcon to the United States.
Well, we're going to have a problem with that. The truth is this conversation, that thing about not valuing how good I am, that's real. That's what people from Moncloa tell me, and there are a lot of people working there and everything gets out. That happens. Spaniards don't appreciate what they've got in me. This egotistical narcissist says this phrase and others like it in the hallways. Who, I believe, is ruling Spain illegally? Well, one more. Come on, Victor's photo. Bottle of water. Thank you, Victor. He says, today I'm celebrating and I'll drink 2 liters. There we are. Magnificent. And the last one, I really liked it. Claudio says that his heart is torn because he's from Spain and from Argentina. They're his 2 favorite teams. So he hung both flags on the balcony. And what he wanted was exactly what happened. For Spain to win and for Argentina to come in second place. Congratulations, Claudio, because you are the example of what the national coach was talking about. Together, we are sure to win. Friends, more tomorrow. I'll be waiting for you here at La Trinchera. We'll tell you more things. A hug. Goodbye. Goodbye.
You know it and I know it. We are confidential, you are confidential, I am confidential. Open minds. for alert people. From the trench, the bullets whistle and there's no way out. To get out of there, here, freedom has wings of wax. When I see that it's me, Susanna Gash, you girls and me and the rest. Thank you very much, thank you. Goodbye, goodbye, goodbye. I'm a cake, see you tomorrow. Tomorrow at, see you tomorrow.
Castillón Confidencial, by Albert Castillón.